Okay guys, this video is going to help you finish your graphic organizer. If you didn't finish it in class because you were absent, or if something was too confusing for you, then you watch this video, make sure you get the graphic organizer filled out, and then the assignment that goes along with it that is also posted to the website should be pretty easy to figure out and get done. Okay, so pay attention to this, fill it in as you go, pause, rewind if you don't understand. Use this resource. This is a fantastic resource for us to help our understanding with all this stuff. So what we've been doing, or what we did all of last week, and what we're going to be doing a little bit more of this week is we're going to learn how Enlightenment ideas applied to new governments and caused and influenced revolutions. But specifically, we're going to learn about the Haitian Revolution. We've learned a lot about the French Revolution already, but we're going to actually look at their Declaration of Rights of Man this week and find some Enlightenment stuff in there. And this is what we've done so far. So this video should be review, but if it's not review, then make sure you watch closely and figure it out, okay? So let's get started. So the first event here is in June 1789, the Tennis Court Oath. And just sort of a narrative of events, what happened is there's 3 estates in France. Estates 1 and 2 were a very small percentage of the population. And when the 3 estates got together, each estate got 1 vote. And 1 and 2 would always be over here, 1 and 2. And then number 3 would always be over here. So it was always 2 versus 1, okay? So who always lost? It was always Estate 3 that lost, okay? So Estate 3, they get ticked off. And what do? They take a political action, which if you recall from our study, political action is when a group of people really want to focus in on one law or one set of laws to fix things. You may have heard in the background, the bell just rang, so a class is getting ready to come in. Come back for more later. I had to stop the video earlier because a class was coming in, so I might repeat a little bit of information, but just bear with me, we'll get through it. So we talked about the 3 estates and how the 3rd estate never got a vote because 1 and 2 always were against 3. So 1 and 2 would vote one way, 3 would vote the other, so 3 always lost. So what did 3 do? They took a political action, and they had this meeting on a tennis court because they were locked out of this this place where they normally met, okay? So the king decided, like, well, fine, if you're going to protest, I'm not going to let you meet at all, so he locked the doors. And then the 3rd estate said, well, there are other rooms in France, so we'll just get another room. So they found this local tennis court. They all met there, and they created this thing called the National Assembly, and they wanted this National Assembly to replace the 3 estate system. And what they wanted and what they said they were going to keep, they said they were going to keep meeting until they got this, is a constitution with equal voting privileges. So that means instead of 1 and 2 going one way and 3 going the other, that means that everyone got 1 vote, 1 person, 1 vote sort of thing. Okay? So they wanted a constitution with equal voting privileges in the legislature for the 3rd estate, okay? So that's all they're asking for is, hey, we're 98% of the population. Our vote should count more than 2 versus 1. So what happened? And in this box is always the public policy change or reaction. What happened is the monarch accepted the National Assembly as the legislative body with equal voting privileges. So they got what they want, kind of, but does not endorse the idea of a constitution. A constitution is just a set of rules and laws to by which your government runs, okay? So they said, okay, fine, you can have this National Assembly, but the king still has all the powers. You guys just sort of suggest things, although nothing is final through what you say. So what did they get what they want? The answer to that is partially, kind of, sort of. So it's not over. So that's June 1789. The next month, July 14th, 1789, there was a social protest currently happening. Okay, and all these third estate members, they're protesting. They're having all sorts of problems, and there starts to be this rumor that the king was going to send troops to Paris to crush the revolution. Okay, so the people of the third estate, and actually some of the first and second estate, had moved over as well. They had joined the third estate. So all these people who are unhappy with the type of government that's going on, they start to become nervous that the king's going to send troops. So they storm the Bastille. The Bastille is just this big building that holds supplies and all sorts of things like that for the troops in France. Hey, Gunnar, do you mind holding off on eating right now? It's kind of distracting me. Or chew with your mouth closed. Chew with your mouth closed. Okay, well, that's not going to work, guys. Sorry. So anyway, the people of the third estate, they want to storm the Bastille, and it says right here, you see, they wanted to prevent troops from entering Paris. They figure if they storm the Bastille, where there's some prisoners held, but a lot of weapons held, that the armies of France wouldn't be able to take over and really crush the rebellion. Okay. So what happened? The troops saw this and troops withdrew. Did they get what they want? Yes, they did get what they want, right? Because they wanted to prevent the troops from entering, and the troops withdrew. So yes, they got what they want. Okay, let's move on. This is the bottom half. What you're going to see next is the bottom half of the same piece of paper with the answers. Okay. So, National Assembly adopts the Declaration of Rights of Man and the Citizen. This is what we've started to read in class. And this was a political action because one specific thing in government changed, a political action. Okay? And this Declaration of Rights of Man isn't a constitution, but it's sort of an outline to, like, if you guys make a constitution, this is what the constitution should look like. So, what the goal was is inclusion of rights in the new constitution. And the monarchy let it stood, so yes, it did work out. So although they didn't have this new constitution with a legislature and all that, they had this outline to a constitution, and they would eventually get that constitution. But we're not quite there yet. And we're still in 1789, by the way. So let's talk next about the Women's March on Versailles. A bunch of angry women marching on Versailles, where the king was, and in protest. Sounds really scary. And what they wanted is they wanted the king to return to Paris, because really what's happening here is more so than angry women about these Enlightenment ideas and stuff. The people of Versailles were hungry. The people were hungry. And just like me right before lunch, people that are hungry are more likely to be violent. Okay? So they wanted the king to return to Paris, but they also wanted the king to give up food that they thought that they were storing. And, of course the king had more, but the king didn't necessarily have so much that he could feed a whole city of hungry people. So they wanted the king to get the heck out of Versailles and plus give him food. And the king returns to his palace. And yes, they did. He left Versailles. He went to Paris. So that did work. However, they didn't necessarily get food. They didn't necessarily stop their economic problems that were causing them to starve. And the last thing we'll talk about on this video is another political action here. It's the meeting of the National Assembly, and a constitution was proclaimed. This is 1791, so we're a couple of years down the road. This is a political reform, and it is in line with, and that's what I would stress earlier, it's in line with the Declaration of Rights of Man and of the Citizen. So what that means is, as I said earlier, this Declaration of Rights of Man, when I talked about it up here, it wasn't a constitution, it was an outline. It was like, if you make a constitution, it should sort of look like this. So this is the constitution that they made that was in line with. So it it followed the outline from up here. From up here. It followed this outline. So the Constitution is accepted by the king, and the monarchy is given limited powers. So there's still a king in this. That's key. So what we would call this, if we were talking about government type, which we do from time to time, this is called a constitutional monarchy. Constitutional. I'm going to put this on the next page, so forget about that. Constitutional monarchy. So yes, they got what they want here. Okay, this is the yes, they got what they want section. But later on down the road, as we'll see a little bit, conservatives and radicals, as well as foreign invasion, led to the next stage of the revolution. So even though they got a constitution, it gets thrown out the window because later on, some radicals said, this isn't good enough. We don't want a king. So eventually, they took the king and they chopped off his head and they put in a new government, which is pretty interesting in and of itself, because it wouldn't be the last government France sees. France sees about 3 governments total, including Napoleon, who kind of ruled more as a dictator than a republican. So yes, they did get a constitution through, but they still had a king, and there were some people that ticked off still. So it didn't quite work out all that well. I promised some folks that in this video I would show you the cutest dog in the world, who I love. His name is Gunner Brown. There he is. Look at there. Look at him. Look at him. You know he's cute. He's cuter than your dog, guaranteed. And it wouldn't be complete unless I gave Gunner some sunglasses. Look at there. Oh, man. Gunner. Looking good. Looking cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Gunner. Sweet, sweet sunglasses. All right. And I think it'd be totally inappropriate if I didn't give him some, let's see here. Gunner likes the bling bling, so he's been asking for a long time, so I think I'll go ahead and give him oh yeah, nice earring there. All right. Maybe a bull ring. Oh, sweet. Looking good, Gunner. Looking good. Have a wonderful day, guys. I hope you got a lot out of the video.